Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sketch Club. My name is Jason Meyer. Glad you're with us tonight. I am watching. Oh, it's a little happy face. I'm glad you put that happy face on there. I thought that was like a mom or something. Like, I'm watching you. Maybe it is. I'm a little nervous now. Hi, Claudia. Shakti, hello, beauties. Well, there's just me here tonight. The girls took the night off, so... But looks like Cindy's watching, like always. She's got us back. Last minute, something came up for Iz, so we said go for it. So she's out doing a little makeup dancing tonight in a parking lot, I believe. But she's having a good time. And speaking of, there's Cindy right there. So tonight we're going to have two 10-minute sketches. Before we get started, I'll jump on the iPad and give a little introduction. Tonight I'm going to talk about something a little bit different, dig a little bit deeper into our planes and our four values. So, let's see. Susan's here. Good evening. And Miss Paula's here. Paula, good to hear from you. Good to hear from you. You got a little love and attention on YouTube this morning. If Cindy hasn't hooked up with you, she will, and get you a link to that. So I'll make sure you know about that, and we're glad that you're back tonight. Well, let's jump over to the iPad. And what I want to do today is, let's fill in some blanks here. Let's fill in some blanks. We've been talking a lot about four values. You always hear me going on about four values. I say, get us a dark... I got paint on my brush tonight. That's all right. We'll do a little painting tonight. We could do a dark. We could do what we would call a gray. So that's two values. All I mean by values is how dark or light something is. And in this case, literally it's a gray. And then what if we jumped up? Where did I jump up to? Did I jump up to here for light? Maybe. We jump up to light, and that almost blends in with their skin tone there. Have to do it over here so you can see it. So that's 1, 2, 3. And what about the fourth one? Well, for 4, we could have a highlight. So what's this language we keep talking about? Well, what if we jumped over and just looked at her nose for a second? And then I want you to notice something here. Do you notice the highlight? The highlight? What that's telling you, those happen on corners. Right, a highlight's going to happen on the corner where it changes directions. Okay, so if we know that, well, now we know where our white's going to go. Okay, so we use white for our corners. But let me ask you something. When you look at the nose, what do you see first? What's the first thing you see when you look at that nose? Well, probably undoubtedly, right, that's going to jump out at you. But that's not necessarily what we're going to draw, right? Because more important than this little bitty piece right here is the entire structure of the nose, meaning the front plane, the bottom plane, the side plane. Do you see how these pieces are what I'm going to call the big pieces? And in art, we want to deal with the big pieces first. Okay? So if we took our four values, and what if we just said, all right, So our dark is on that underplane. Now, does that necessarily look dark in the photo? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But remember, what we're doing is we're translating and we're trying to make a structure here. And then that's a side plane. So what if we used gray there? Our top plane. And what did we find out about the highlights? They happen on corners. So when we take that away, it's almost like a topographical map. Okay? But we're not map makers. We're artists. So we want to make sure that you can read and feel those big changes in the topography and the planes of the face. But we also want it to be beautiful, so there may be a little abbreviation going on there. Okay? So let's bring her back. Bring Spencer back. Poor thing, look at all this we've done to her. Now when you look at that nose again, do you see what I'm saying? So as artists, it's not that we're trying to look at the reference and see, and if you have good light, it'll show up, but we're trying to see these big structures. These big structures. One more example. When you look at the mouth, what's the first thing you see? Well, you're going to see lips, but even between the mouth and the nose, what do you see? Man, look at all that action there. Boom, boom. Oh, I'm seeing that. I'm going to put that in there. When I get that, they're going to look just like that. Well, the problem is that these, uno, 1, and 2, they're small. We're being petty. We can't be petty. Let's don't be petty. Right? Before we see those little forms, we want to see the big form. The big form that those are on top of. Okay? So that's and when you see that, you start drawing a little differently. You start drawing just a little bit differently. So I'm not going to rehash the tilt and the starts and all of that, but hopefully with that little introduction there, what you'll see me do will make a little more sense. But whether you do what I do or do something different or just watch me, there's no rules. Have a good time. This is meant to stretch those artistic muscles, get moving, get a little rhythm into things, and to work out. So, let's see, how are we doing here? Yeah, I think it's about time to get started. So everybody hopefully's got something to mark on, mark with. Ideally toned paper and 4 values, but if not, a Sharpie and an envelope will do. Let's just use what we got and go for it. Let's sketch. Thanks for all the love, guys. You guys are awesome. Let's see. We think we're going to start with Spencer today. Oh, yep. That's why she's the best. A reminder, as always, you can find reference images that we're sketching from this week on the website, jasonmeyer.com. Hold your cursor over the Sketch Club, and a little thing will pop up, say reference images. Slide down and click on that. And they're yours to use. You can use them right there. You're welcome to download them. If you'll click on them, you can get them isolated and even make them bigger or smaller. So a little tool for you to use. So as I start on Spencer, what you see is I've worked 5 minutes on it on Sunday. So I've just got the big things there. So I want to introduce a little background, a little that number 3 value. Right, and I do that with vine charcoal and a stump. A stump is something you use just to kind of even the tone and level it out. I get so excited I just skipped the stump. Maybe I'll come back to that later. We'll see. We'll see. You're drawing in your sketch and you see so much, you get excited. You get excited. But it's important that you warm up. And how long do you warm up? Well, you warm up until you're in the artist mind. You're in the mind of seeing those big structures instead of, right, the thing that kind of jumps out at you. We want to make these things as real and solid as we can. Be more convincing. For my number 2 value, I use my kneaded eraser, and that's why I work on the toned paper, because then I can just use that for my number 2 value, and then white chalk will be lighter, and compressed charcoal will be my number 4 value. But again, at this point, I'm not copying, but I'm trying to make sure we feel the big structures. The eye sockets, the nose, the jaw. I can use it to indicate a little shirt going into the shadow there. And I don't know that we've talked about it on here, but if you want to bring more life into your stuff, try to work with less straights. Don't make everything straight, right? Let it have a little rounder. And that's not necessarily true too, because then you start doing that and everything rolls away. So it turns out you need a little bit of both, of round and straight. And if you can alternate that, you know, you can almost think cube to sphere to cube to sphere, in kind of a poetic, not a literal way. Okay, the rounds, the diagonals are going to give you more flows. The straights, the horizontals and verticals are going to give you a little more structure. And then the number 4, value number 4 with compressed charcoal is what I'm working with now. And if I make her hair and the shadow a number 4 value, then that gray that I put down can act like air and background. I want to set it up to where I can have some soft edges and some hard edges. We don't necessarily want everything outlined. Why? Well, turns out that doesn't necessarily look so great. So we need a certain amount of openness in here, of flowing from one thing to the other. And if a value shape, say a dark number 4 value, runs between, say, an eye, a cheek, a jaw, a neck, and a shirt, well, then that value, that number 4 dark shape, is then literally transcending objects. Meaning it's expanding beyond a single object. Right? Going beyond the boundaries. And it has that feeling when you do that with your shapes. Sounds a little too easy, you know, but that's exactly what happens. So go ahead and give me a few transcendent shapes, huh? Ever had anybody ask you for transcendent shapes? Well, if I'm the first one, Something to think about. Something to think about. Did we think of shapes just as straights and curves before? What about transcendent? What about solid? Can we have ethereal shapes? I feel a bit ethereal sometimes. And other times I feel a bit too solid. How about you? You guys ever experienced that? So what was that experience that you had? What would that look like? Right? Or what shape feels like that? What value feels like that? What kind of edge feels like that experience? Am I asking too much on a 10-minute sketch? Sorry, guys. But we're going to see what we look for. Alright. And why wouldn't we look for just a bit of transcendence in everything? I mean, if you got to look for something, I mean, seems as good as anything else to me. I guess if you really wanted to, you could just look for pasta in everything. Go around and spotting pasta in everything. Hey, whatever. But I don't know. Seems like seeing transcendence would be a little more exhilarating than seeing pasta. But hey, I mean, you know, pasta's fine, but it doesn't get me too excited. But I guess if it did, then hey, go find that pasta. But for us, we got to find something else, right? We got to find beauty. What's beauty? Right, I got a burnt piece of wood here, and you're talking about beauty? Yes, ma'am, I am. Right? With these burnt woods and stuff, we can make patterns. What's a beautiful pattern? What does it take to make a beautiful pattern? Poor Spencer. She looks like a grumpy professor more than a beautiful pattern. Oof. Oof. Well, you know what Mom and Dad used to say? Do as I say, not as I do. Oh, look, I'm going to give the grumpy professor a beard. That's funny. It's 10 minutes, so don't worry about if it gets a little rough. Again, these are exercises to work out, right? When you're jogging laps for the football game, I don't think I've ever heard a football player going, I won that lap. I just won that lap. What? Doesn't even make sense. Right, a little indication of the coat there. And highlights happen where? On the corners. We just talked about that. Now this is too small and I don't have enough time to do all of them, but even just a couple of them. And when I say the inside, I want to see the inside of the entire sphere of the head. Right? And then if I get one on the nose too, that's kind of an abbreviated version. You don't always have to put in everything you see, just like you don't always have to tell everything you heard, right? Or share everything you see through the day. You got to be selective. There's just not enough hours in the day, not enough years in our life to do every little bit of it. So let's be selective. Man, that was 10 minutes. I didn't think that could have been 10 minutes. But now, talk about a surprise. Say, what? Little Miss Personality herself. So, we miss her tonight, but she's having a good time dancing her little heart out, so I'm glad she's doing that. Glad she's doing that. So one of the things that's happening here is, if you think of just like an egg for the basic shape of the head, it's being stretched, pulled. Right? So we want to pull those shapes, pull those eyes kind of open, pull down, pull up. Right? And then we want to try to do it in symmetry and that. And then with the symmetry of the eyes, right, the center of the nose and the mouth. Why don't we play the asymmetry of those pigtails, right? That's gonna suit this caricature much more than a big perfectly combed hair. This kid doesn't have perfectly combed hair for very long. And I gotta apologize to Grandma and Mom right now for that, because that's my side. Sorry, Iz. Sorry, Iz. We just weren't made to maintain well-groomed hair for more than about 45 seconds. I don't know. Just something in our DNA, I guess. But it makes it fun, right? Looping out, being a little crazy. Get those eyebrows up there. Say, what? We're going for ice cream? I get a puppy? Let's see. The supporting cast, our supporting cast. She does it everywhere. Does it everywhere. She's got eyes and ears on us. Don't you worry, Claudia, they're here. But yeah, the little one's dancing her heart out. So, but we'll tell her she said that her friend said hi when she gets home. She loves having you on her side, Claudia. I thought that might be fun to shake it up a little bit. A little humor, a little character. Susan's had an influence on everybody. She always turns things into some kind of caricature or some sort of story. I'm feeling a little Susan vibe here, so I thought we might get a little of that in this week. And since our portraits are started, we're probably going to be moving into something next. On Thursday we're going to do more into the action. So we may talk about the doing a little bit more, and we can do some expression, if Izzy will let me. She's a little sensitive about any pictures, anything now, that stage of life, but she's too good of a model. So, excellent. I know, poor Claudia, you're hanging in there, kiddo. I know portraits aren't your thing. Next month's free, and then we're going to get into some good stuff. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Ooh, by the way, because a few of you advanced people are here right now. So as the world continues to change and we open up, some of our programs may be changing and things. And I was thinking for our class, it's nice to have a little variety in what we do each month. What if there was a portrait each month? And what if there was a still life each month? And what if there was a landscape each month? And if I had some more the advanced students maybe volunteering to lead each section, then we might be able to do that. Anyway, just plant that seed. See how that sounds and feels. See how that sounds and feels. Because I know how it is. Sometimes Man, I really want to do portraits and they're doing still life. Man, I'm so ready to do still life and all they're doing is landscape. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Well, what I'm doing here is trying to resolve these 4 values into interesting shapes and patterns. And again, what this sketch club is about is trying to do that quickly. Right? Not making the most beautiful thing, not ever making any mistakes. But how quickly can you get the main point up there? Right? So it's almost more of an exercise of thinking. Right? And learning to really be efficient with what you put down and where you put it. Right? Not everything about exactness, right? But can we develop a process to where we can find the exactness? Give us a chance to kind of walk around, take a few through it. Oh, Shakti's on board. Freeze. Oh, okay. So Claudia missed it, but I thought Susan and Shakti and Claudia, some of the more advanced people or people that have been painting for a little while, what if we did have a reference in our classes, a reference image each month for each genre? Say a landscape, a portrait, and a still life. But then there'd be somebody with more experience that would volunteer to kind of lead that section. Maybe do the thing and let me use their thing as demos and stuff, so it wouldn't be on me to demo everything. Anyway, just a thought. Just a thought. Shakti says it's a good idea. You guys let me know what you think. If we could do something like that, if I could get some of you guys leading different sections, then we could offer more variety in what we do each month. And it might make the morning jump starts a little more interesting too. It's good to go over the same thing, but to have a little variety, I think, makes it a little more interesting too. So anyway, lots of good things happening. We got our school up and running. I think we've got one completely self-paced course up there, the basic forms in charcoal. And that's exactly what I'm using here to do all of this, those basic forms, right? Because of the basic forms, I know that that backpack is going to go over her shoulder and around her back. And so I know I've got to draw that more than worry about that exact backpack. Good, 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 good. I like the idea, but scary. Me too, Susan. I think some of you guys might have forgotten that I'm a complete introvert that hates cameras. So I like a little scary's okay. I think we can do it. Paula, just figured I have 3 different kinds. Hey, you know what? That's how you learn. That's how you learn. I think you just do it, and then as you do it, you're like, hey, wait a minute, wait, what? And then you got it. Good, good, good. Take it as it comes. And some of these things will get easier too as you go, oh, if I use that tool. Oh, okay, I see, I see. I'm so glad to hear from Paula. Paula jumped out when I had mentioned that, you know, things are changing, and if you're hanging around, we haven't heard from you to say something. So we're so glad she did. Welcome, welcome, Paula. So if you're one of those people watching and, you know, don't really say anything but enjoy it, you can let us know. And if you don't want anybody else to know, we don't have to say anything on air. But it does help to know people are there watching, to stay motivated and stuff. It's a bit of work to do this. But I do it because I need to do it for my growth. And I also do it for my students. And basically, I just love to see people progressing. And this is just such a wonderful way to play, right? And you can play at any age. Young, old, middle, in the beginning, before the beginning, after the end. Right? If you can basically hold a pencil Hold something in your hand, your teeth, your toes, your armpits. Man, you can do this. You can do it. Because it's really more a matter of what we're thinking about. There's a little bit of hand skill in there, but no hand skill that, if you can write your name, you've got enough skill. You're welcome, Paula. You're welcome. Love having you here. And I do it so well. It's my alter ego. It's my alter. Well, one of the things that allows me to be a little more comfortable, honestly, is seeing you guys be so supportive for each other and your growth. I mean, your growth is what sparks me on. It's so exciting seeing you guys. And then seeing you guys being so encouraging to the new people. And, it's really about a community. It's about making all of us better. Right? Let's grow better together. That's what we say at our school. And look, just in time, Miss Cindy Meyer. Man, did I marry right or what? Huh? I mean, let that be the question. Did I marry right or what? If I've done nothing else right in my life, boom, I got that right. So there's the new online school. It's in the comment. Onlinecourses.jasonmeyer.com. That Meyer's a little tricky, but you know what? Mary went out, she fell down a hill, and the Y and the R got mixed up, and she became a Meyer. Easy as that. Mary, switch that Y and R. JasonMeyer.com. All right, thanks so much, baby. Thank all of you guys for being here. Hopefully, and as far as we know, Cindy and Izzy, the beauties, will be back Wednesday. So tune back in to see those guys. And then I'll be back in the morning, 8 a.m. on YouTube, Meyer Studio for Morning Jumpstart, to get us all up and going for the day. So hope you can join us there. Until then, lots of love to everybody. Wait a minute, did we rewind? Wow, what happened to the night? Boom. See? Claudia got the introvert talking and I lost what I was doing. So here we go. Here we go. Marty, thank you. Seen you a couple times. Tell Bob hi, by the way. I think about him quite a bit. I used to see Bob. Bob would volunteer. He might still do it. The finances for Morro Bay. And he'd be in the front office. We'll call it an office. The front office when we were having class. Always with a smile and always helpful. So that's the other thing about art is, man, you meet some incredible people. You meet incredible people. It's scary but there's a lot of us quiet ones out there. And we're trying to build a place for the quiet ones. So I hope you'll join us. All right, everybody, that is it for the evening. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.